Hello everyone! Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann finally out of their Atlanta mansion. It is the end of an era for one former Real Housewives of Atlanta couple. Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann have finally exited the Georgia mansion that was the backdrop for numerous fights and police calls. According to Page 6, the U.S. Marshals intervened and removed them from the home on April 8, 2025. As per a court filing, 4 deputy marshals ejected Zolciak and Biermann from the Atlanta mansion from 3:30 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. The former reality star and the ex-NFL player finally sold their mansion in February 2025 for $2.75 million, $3 million less than the original asking price, after it was on the market for a year and a half. The 15,000-square-foot home is a luxurious property with a heated pool, 5 fireplaces, a 6-car garage, an elevator, an arcade room, a movie theater, a gym, and more. The new owners of the Atlanta estate began the process of legally removing the former couple from the home last December, according to new court documents obtained by Page 6. In the filing, the new owners claimed that Zolciak and Biermann held the premises over and beyond the term for which they rented to them. They also claimed that the estranged couple had already been served the papers for the proceeding against a tenant holding over. Those filings from the owners went unanswered. According to Page 6, Kroy Biermann filed for divorce from Kim in the summer of 2023, and now that the issues with their Georgia mansion have been resolved, the exes are finally able to focus on what they hope is a positive future. Kim has relocated to a rental property with their 4 minor children. Kroy Jr., also known as KJ, 14, Cash, 12, and 11-year-old twins Kaya and Kane. They also share daughters Brielle, 28, and Ariana, 23, whom Biermann adopted back in 2012. It might be the perfect time for her to return to television, with a camera following her as she rebuilds her now single life. According to Ariana Biermann, Kroy has stepped away from the drama and is living a quiet life by himself. The ex-reality star has also undergone a serious career change. He now oversees logistics and helps with improving workplace efficiency at Superior Rigging and Erecting Co. Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann have officially vacated their once glamorous Alpharetta mansion, marking the end of a tumultuous chapter in their personal and financial lives. On April 8, 2025, U.S. Marshals were dispatched to enforce the eviction after the couple failed to leave voluntarily, despite the property having been sold months earlier. The mansion, which had been their home since 2012, was sold in January 2025 for $2.75 million. Significantly less than its original $6 million asking price. The sale followed a series of price reductions and foreclosure threats that had plagued the couple for over a year. The 15,700-square-foot estate, nestled in the exclusive Manor Golf and Country Club community, boasted 7 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a 6-car garage, a home theater, arcade room, gym, and a heated pool. It was a symbol of the couple's lavish lifestyle during their 12-year marriage. However, financial difficulties, including defaulting on a $1.65 million loan, led to the property's foreclosure and eventual sale. Despite earlier indications that Zolciak had begun moving out in November 2024, it remained unclear if the couple had fully vacated until the Marshals' intervention. The eviction was the latest development in a series of legal and financial challenges for the couple. Their divorce proceedings have been marked by disputes over finances, including allegations of mismanagement and excessive spending. Their daughter, Ariana Biermann, publicly claimed that her parents had spent her earnings from brand deals and TV appearances without her consent. In the aftermath of the eviction, Zolciak listed several items from the mansion for sale on Instagram, including a $43,000 bedroom set belonging to Ariana. The couple has since relocated to a nearby rental home with their 4 minor children. the sale of the mansion and the enforcement of the eviction signal a significant turning point in their lives, bringing an end to their once idyllic dawn in Atlanta, and the peachy horizon broke through gauzy curtains in the now too-large mansion. A coffee cup trembled in Kim Zolciak's hands, her signature blonde locks a little less voluminous than years past, but still pristine. She stared at the wall. No cameras, no glam squad, just silence. Finally, after 1,000 tabloid headlines, cease and desist letters, reconciliation attempts, divorce filings, reversals, and reality show rumors, the story had found its end, or maybe its next beginning. Kroy Biermann, the former NFL linebacker turned reality TV husband, exhaled as he stood in the doorway behind her. He looked leaner now, as though the weight of endless public spectacle had finally left his shoulders. He no longer carried himself like a man performing for an audience. This wasn't "Don't Be Tardy." There were no cutaway scenes, no scripted spats, just real life in raw form. She turned. "You're up early." He nodded. "Didn't sleep." Their eyes met, not hostile, not romantic, just honest. It had been a long road. They were once the fantasy, Bravo's royal couple. She was the fiery, wig-wearing, wine-sipping, filter-loving siren. He, the quiet but adoring protector, drawn in by her outrageous charm and fierce loyalty. They married in 2011 with all the fanfare reality TV could muster, and for a while, the fairy tale held. But fame has a funny way of feeding on itself. The mansion, the roles, the chaos of 6 kids, the sports injuries, the gambling rumors, the IRS letters, the "we're separated," then "no, we're back together," then "forget what you heard," then sources close to the couple say, all of it cracked the foundation. Finally, it cracked open. "It's weird," she said quietly, tapping her French manicured nails on the porcelain mug. "You know what this morning feels like?" He raised an eyebrow. "What?" "Real." Kroy leaned against the kitchen island. "Yeah, too real." For all the Bravo-honed theatrics, they had both grown weary of pretending. The public had watched them spiral in slow motion. Vegas trips gone wrong, bank account freezes, shouting matches. Kim's daughters had taken sides, friends had distanced, and the lawyers had grown richer. But what they never showed on TV were the 3 a.m. talks when the cameras were gone, when Kim cried without her lashes on, or when Kroy held her phone in his hand, shaking, wondering how everything they built had turned into this. It wasn't about blame anymore. They had both made mistakes. And maybe, just maybe, finally admitting that was the first step toward healing. They were no longer fighting for the brand. There were no more hashtags to curate. No more manifesting positivity while courts served subpoenas. This was real life, messy, painful, imperfect, but theirs. "So it's really over," she said, as though saying it aloud gave it weight. He didn't flinch. "Yeah." There was no dramatic exit, no suitcase on the lawn, just quiet understanding. They had finalized the divorce 2 days prior. No sources say. No mysterious Instagram unfollow. It was all done through real attorneys, real signatures, and real tears. The kids would be split evenly. The house? Up for sale, though the market was a mess. And the show? Long canceled. A relic of a world before they knew how expensive fame really was. And yet, for the first time in years, there was no tension thickening the air. "Do you remember," Kim asked suddenly, "when we were in Turks and Caicos, Season 3, and you said, 'We're going to grow old and fat and rich together'?" He chuckled. "Yeah, you threw your wine at me 2 scenes later." She smirked. "You were being a jerk. I was being scripted." She laughed, actually laughed. It echoed off the marble floor like a sigh. They both knew they couldn't go back. But that didn't mean they had to drag the past behind them like a ball and chain. Divorce was an end, but it didn't have to be an enemy. For years, they performed forever, because the world expected it, not because it still fit. Now they were finally letting go, not out of hate, out of mercy, for themselves and each other. I want us to be good parents, she said, not enemies. We will be, Kroy replied. Silence returned, but it was gentle now, comfortable. You know, she said, I really thought this would kill me. He tilted his head. Me too. But here we are. Still breathing. The moment sat between them, fragile and freeing. Kim stood and walked to the window. The rising sun caught the shimmer of her wedding ring, a ring she hadn't taken off in 13 years. Slowly, deliberately, she slipped it off and placed it on the marble counter. Finally, she whispered, not out of bitterness, not out of defeat, but because the chapter had ended, and that was okay. Outside, life continued. Children stirred upstairs. The day pressed forward. And in a quiet, elegant way, so did they.